Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I'm Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Brian, Vic, and Lynette. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going?
Today we blast off into space with the D.U.A. to search the cosmos for new planets and resources as we discuss Advancer Tina. Advancer Tina is a 1996 OVA produced by Beam Entertainment and Green Bunny. It was animated by Dandelion Animation Studios. Now, Dandelion is responsible for things like La Blue Girl, Twin Dolls, Venus 5, Orchid Emblem, like noticing a theme.
Yeah,
based
and
on the
eventually
titles.
became Studio Arms. That what defunct in 2020?
Yeah, which is kind of weird because they merged with another studio and formed Arms, and they went on to work on projects that we have seen. We've covered some of them, like Mezzoforte, Kite, Ikitosen, Samurai Girls. Like they were busy group of people.
Yeah, if it's something heavy, they had their hands in it.
They did.
No, that's what happened.
Yeah.
They did Kite, and then they did the live action version of Kite.
And that was just it.
They were like, you guys need to be stopped.
Now they
But Brian,
declared bankruptcy in 2020. So they're not. But then at the same time, there's still a website up for Dandelion itself, and they're doing things like Slam Dunk. So I don't really know what happened there. I think there was some kind of like the company split into two factions or something. I don't know. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because honestly, there's not a lot more information about this anime as far as like what was produced, what was made, who wrote it, and all that shit. So that's the best I had as much as information goes. This was released as part of Green Bunny's Best of Kitty series, Volume 1 in 2000 on DVD. So I think that was the last time it ever saw a release in the States.
Green Bunny, wasn't it Critical Mass?
There was who it was, but I mean, it was Green Bunny being
Oh,
the
that's what they
animation
titled
studio.
it.
Yeah, Green Bunny.
Okay.
Their best
Fact.
of,
Oh,
Kitty.
Dueling
So,
facts. Dueling facts.
It's no, not
No,
none
it's
of
hard to get the correct information for
that.
this.
Yeah, this is one of those where it's like, because Beam Entertainment and Green Bunny produced the anime, and the Best of Kitty series, it was released by Media Blasters. Like, it's the whole thing. Anyway, the thing about hentai is, and I'm burying the lead, we're covering it. This is a hentai. The thing about hentai is most of these studios like don't want their actual company names attached to these projects, so they come up with subsidies and subsidies of subsidies. They're like, this company belongs to this company. Like, honestly, this whole project was done by like Toei Animation, and they just used.
Hey, not for nothing. If you look, based on the animation, I felt like it had a Fist of the North Star.
Fucking dude, that's my note.
Yes.
It's absolutely my note. This is Fist of the North Star in space. It's so much so. But that's the thing, right? Like, this is the animation studios behind this. The parent companies are the parent companies of the parent companies. I'm 90% sure it was like Toei Animation, which is hilarious because nobody wants their name attached to it. It's really funny.
We gotta find the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon between
The hentai version.
Do this and
No, no.
Fist? Yeah.
Yeah. Between Advancer Tina and Fist. We gotta do that.
It exists. I'm sure of it. So the plot is that it's the year 3113 and Earth has been consumed by toxic pollutant, forcing mankind to flee into the galaxy in search of life-sustaining habitats and resources.
Can I?
Yeah.
I don't think they mathed correctly.
No, they don't math correctly at all, really. But go on.
Because did you see? It said in so far 300 centuries have passed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be 30. We will be in much higher numbers.
We would. We would. But what are you going to do, man? So the Domestic Union of Arms enlists the use of advancers, who are basically explorers who chart new worlds for humanity to inhabit. Tina Owens is our main character. She is one such advancer and is serving a 2,000-year sentence.
Yep.
I'm
with the
guessing the years are much, much, much shorter in the future.
I honestly, I just thought maybe she assassinated a healthcare CEO or something because this seems like an excessive.
Bro.
Seems like an
Bro.
excessive
Bro.
sentence. So
Did you see what happened to the other people that did you read it?
no, go ahead.
All right, so Claude Laurent, he clearly had a bad day.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Basically, he flew into a fluctuant gravitational storm, crushed to death. And the other guy, Soren something. He basically been missing for, get this, 34 hours.
That's
Mhm.
it. Yeah, 34
34
hours.
hours. And I
34
was like,
hours.
man, y'all could have just waited.
34 hours,
Man,
but in this time frame, that's like 207 something years.
I mean,
Yeah.
geez, yeah, time is, they don't math right for sure. So with the promise of a pardon looming, Tina is enlisted to investigate the mysterious planet Omega 13, a place where no advancer has ever returned from.
and what was the carrot that was used to seal the deal?
A pardon. She was getting a pardon and a
Oh.
shower.
Yes.
A
Yeah,
shower.
shower with
Pardon.
water.
No. A
With
hot
real
shower.
water.
A
With
pardon
real
and a hot
water.
Real
shower.
water.
With real water. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. That was the cherry on
think
top
that
of the.
shower-
That was a clincher of the deal.
That's it.
I think the shower scene gave us a lot of wonderful information.
It was an obligatory shower scene if I'd ever seen one. It now
Yeah.
what's funny is
I disagree. I believe
go
it
ahead.
actually served a purpose.
Please do. Go on.
It's
To
so
prove that the carpet matched the drapes?
and how long she was in prison for. She did not have the means to shave. So for 6 months, she had a very, very blonde
So
foliage, if you will.
I will say this. All right, so I do have thoughts about this and the fact that there is the hentai aspect of it. And this particular hentai it's got, I have thoughts, but I'm going to get to them in a little bit here. I want to start with some more meat on this. So Omega 13 is a planet with a 1.75% survival rate. That is officially the survival rating.
Yeah.
This is important. This is important for several reasons but one major reason that I will bring up shortly. So she's given basically carte blanche. She's sent to a space station. She's like, get whatever the fuck you need, go investigate this planet. Oh, and have a hot shower. So she rolls up on this planet in her skin tight suit, and because that's what spacesuits really are. And she's immediately accosted by men. I want to point out she's carrying a firearm, but decides to use her fingernails to scratch out a dude's eye and enlist in fisticuffs.
Which was another thing about the shower. I was surprised she didn't stab herself.
She sliced herself wide open.
Like seeing exactly how sharp those nails were. Right. So those Lady Deathstrike could have been in prison with you.
And that's the funny thing about this. Like this space station is very Fist of the North Star. It's where I wrote my note down. I'm like, this feels very Fist of the North Star. Everybody's wearing jean shirts with the sleeves ripped off, denim pants. Denim's everywhere in
this
space.
This wasn't made in
apparently.
the 80s. This was was it 97
90,
production?
96, 97. Yeah. So I was surprised.
But it was so 80s.
It really felt it. It did. It felt, and it was the funniest thing.
Bad.
So yeah, hardcore Fist of the North Star vibes, especially Don Juan Garuda, who
put some respect on his fucking name. You put some respect on his fucking name.
Oh my god.
So look. I was trying to do more research than what I normally do. And I had missed that during my first watch of it. My second watch of it, when I saw that name, Don Juan, I don't need to watch anymore. I think I got the gist of it. Once I got to that point, I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Don Juan
Garuda. So it doesn't take long for them to introduce Frill, a kid, a
Wait
little
a
kid.
minute. No.
Yeah, it's
We
like
have
almost right away.
before that we have
What?
but before we get to Frill,
Yeah.
and even before we get to Don Juan Garuda, we
Uh-huh.
have to talk about the most other useless Akira known to man.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, when she's accosted by the Fist of the North Star rejects, Akira comes to her aid with his firearm, even though she had a firearm, but I digress. And yeah, and he really, man, this character. Why is he in this? Why is he in
Why
this?
is he here?
Why is he in this? But
I have no
why?
idea.
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. Why is he in this? There's a they even gave him a subplot. They even spent time giving him a subplot. They desperately wanted him to matter.
Yes.
And
It didn't even matter.
He really didn't. So they introduced this. She outbids Don Juan Garuda for a ship.
We have to say his whole name the entire time.
We have to.
Yes.
And she, on her way out of this establishment down the street here, a kid runs into her, tries to steal her bag, but not steal her bag. She's going to help carry the bag. And we meet Frill. And I really gotta say, do we need a kid in this anime? It feels like a bad
No.
idea to put a kid in this anime, especially this anime.
Look. We have already established, like, I felt like this was a cross between Fist of the North Star
Sure.
and Aliens.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And
I can give you
this-
that.
And this is our nuke to Ripley.
Right.
But this nuke does not need to be in this movie.
We didn't need this. When the second
No.
they introduced Frill, I was like, my note is, we do not need a kid in this anime. This is a bad idea. Like, we've already established in just the first few minutes, this isn't an anime we want a kid in at all. And yet here we are.
And so what do? They bring in a kid.
They bring in a kid. They're bringing a
They
kid who is the standard girl posing as a boy trope, Frill.
Which
So-
lasted all of like 2.5 seconds.
She is enlisted to assist Tina in procuring supplies for this trip and information. Akira is apparently also looking for a job and is unemployed, but walking around
With a gun, just shooting
just a
away ammunition that he doesn't have no money to pay for.
planet full of bums. So it's a really quick little exchange. Go ahead.
Can we just talk about how many people were in that auditorium to buy that
for the auction?
fucking auction?
Bidding on the auction? Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like everyone from that space station. Everyone.
Yeah.
everyone.
The entire cast of Fist of the North Star was there.
Fist of the North Star, Spleen of the South Star, Perineum of the East Star.
It got
And
it got up to 40 million ball because the first bidder, they didn't show him, but the first bidder was Kenshiro, and he was like, and it would just kept going up, ball by ball.
And then he tapped out.
So then they had to stop.
and he started from one.
Yeah, he started from, he was counting singles, like one
ball
ball at a
one
time.
ball. Yeah.
So she wins this ship. She gets Frill to go get supplies and information for her. And as Frill's running off, we get our first glimpse at Joanna and the nuns. The sisters of Sister Mary
It sounds like
Clarence.
Josie and the Pussycats. when
It
you say
does, yes.
Joanna and the
Oh
Nuts.
my
Joanna
gosh.
does. The
Now,
sisters.
this is like a space station full of Fist of the North Star characters.
Yeah,
So it's
this
like,
is-
it's like, no, it's Lala Station.
Right. It's a lawless space
So
station.
why would 3 attractive nuns be there?
Why, just,
Like,
anyway.
and they did it like, oh my gosh, if we're nuns, it's going to protect us.
Right, we'll be fine. That was their plan.
Yeah. Clearly,
So-
we have left Earth, and it's been 300 centuries. Clearly, our Lord and Savior is the thing we need to go with.
Yeah. So that lasts
Does it
about
work for them?
about
work for
about 6 seconds. I think is the
6
length of time
no.
that it lasts for them to be sexually assaulted. It was atrociously fast. So, yeah, Kira and Tina come to the rescue because that's what Akira does, I guess. But yeah, they do manage to stop. I mean, it's a little bit. They got
Look.
mostly helped.
But they
Did
didn't
not get
just.
helped. It
They
was
had.
there was no helping.
No, it was over. Like it was over.
I was already done. Somebody comes, I'm come to save the day, and someone says you need to try tomorrow because
Yeah.
the day is done.
Because like they stand up and zip themselves up. I'm like, oh, you know what? That's important.
Yeah,
You don't want to
yeah.
be.
That's already
really-
done.
Yeah.
You don't want to be fighting with your wang out.
So, yeah. So turns out one of them, the nuns, is Joanna, who is Don Juan Garuda's girlfriend, and he is less than thrilled that she is there. He doesn't seem at all bothered by the fact that she'd just been sexually assaulted, but
Fuck
he's
buddy.
No.
very upset she's there at all.
I don't even want to say girlfriend. Fuck buddy.
Okay. All right, we'll go with it. His companion.
Co-worker with benefits.
Anyway,
And he immediately tries to send her away.
he does. He's like, "You're leaving tomorrow. Fuck this noise." And
Yes.
yeah. So what are you gonna do? Now my note here at this point is that Tina and Frill seem to have formed a relationship exceptionally fast, like very nurturing, very
Yeah.
quickly, at an alarming rate. And they
That I honestly, it was a little scary because
a little, yeah,
I thought that Tina and Frill were about to.
like be a thing.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was more nurture than nature, which is fine. I was much happier with that than the alternative.
I was scared it was going to be
Yeah.
paper mache and scissoring.
I was very not into that arts and crafts either, so glad that didn't pan out. So,
Yeah.
Hey, I want to thank you guys. I saw your reaction to it. Thank you. That's all I needed.
Akira gets his subplot kind of at this point. They're having a conversation, the three of them, and Akira's like,
Which
I want
is
to
the
kill.
weakest subplot.
He wants to kill Ortega. It's his six-fingered man. I mean, that's basically it. He's like, I want
Motherfucker, you bringing in
to
Princess
kill
Biden into this bullshit?
Ortega. It's what I call any random evil, antagonist that nobody's freaking seen. So
Did he kill his father too?
he might have. I don't know. He
I
killed a
think he
bunch-
did kill his
apparently very-
father.
He probably did. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Is he wanted to get revenge. So that's the point. He wants to get revenge because he killed his dad. That's why I use the reference. Yeah.
Well, sir, you knocked that out the park. I can't. I think I was a little upset at first. I can't be upset with that wonderful reference.
All right, fair enough. So now at this point, I wanted to point out that this is not the first bad decision in this anime, but this is certainly the worst decision in this anime. And it's at this point that Frill makes the case that Frill wants to go with on this adventure. And they had just established, not minutes ago, in a conversation, that the planet is too dangerous and that Tina must leave Frill there for Frill's safety. Because this planet, once again, has a survivability of less than 2%. And Frill gives a hug, gives little puppy dog eyes, and is now apparently going on this mission.
Is now part of the crew.
Because she's lonely. There you go. That was not the first bad decision, but arguably the worst bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first bad decision goes to the nuns.
The nuns get the first bad decision.
That was just a bad,
that was very
stupid
much so.
idea.
So then we get what is another laughable, uninterested scene with poor Joanna and Don Juan Garuda.
Oh my gosh. I was embarrassed for her. I was so embarrassed for her.
She was just trying a little too hard.
What was that guy? Was it
the professional Go 13? That's 100% what it reminded me of.
I think he was like thinking of the Dodgers or football or
he's like, yeah,
I'll leave the stove on.
I think he was doing his budget. I have no idea. I have never.
QuickBooks was done.
It's time, for everybody out there, no matter who your partner is, if your partner is not looking at you, acknowledging you, or responding in any way, first check to make sure they're not dead. And then two,
Find a new one.
the second thing is reassess what's happening and then kind of reevaluate your decisions to get to that point, and then
Yeah,
possibly go get
seriously.
Baskin Robbins and coffee.
It's
'Cause
anything.
Or
You'll
Anything.
probably
Or-
get more enjoyment out of it.
wait a minute, she was enjoying it.
Was she?
I no.
I'm pretty sure she was under the influence of something because she was.
No, because that was the
No,
magic
no,
stick.
here's what it
no,
is.
No, that was the
She was
magic.
on a mission to do something that was a failure to begin with. I don't know
Yeah.
what she would have had better luck with a jackrabbit and a bullet all by herself than she would.
Or
Look.
maybe Don Juan Garuda's on
Look,
one stick was just that magical.
I am going with Lynette
I
on
felt
this.
nothing.
I think she was doing that to get permission to stay. I think she didn't want to leave, and she
Yeah.
was selling it so that she could stay. That's what I think was happening. And it
was-
worked because he takes her with.
Yeah.
Takes them
It was
all.
very
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was uncomfortable for everyone.
It was
I'm pretty
terrible.
sure. Yeah, it was.
Poor Joanna.
And,
Just that's
and then
all I.
Akira just walked. Didn't he just walk by the door? He just
Seriously, because there's no doors. They established there's no doors in this hotel.
Yeah.
There's no doors.
Well, she
for
got the
reasons.
order with the door.
For reasons, there's no door. So yeah, so it's just like Akira's just like walking by, like, do 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 do, and then there's that going on, and it's just yeah.
I think he
it's-
stopped for a second and said, No, it keeps going
Yeah.
wrong.
He did. He really did.
He
And
did.
I really wanted him to go, girl, you trying too hard, and then
right,
walk away.
seriously.
He could have just shook his head like,
Yes, there had to be some. I don't know.
Now, yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Now at this point, they established that Frill is a telepath, which I'm sure will be an important plot point at some point. She's able to see into Tina's mind, and I didn't necessarily need a flashback of 14-year-old Tina skinny dipping, but that's what we got. And it was important for a reason
Well,
that I'm
remember,
sure.
they can't tell a time up there, so she could have been 472.
It's such an off-putting scene that's very out of place, and it's desperate to endear Frill to us when my mind is saying, this is a child in danger. We need to get this child out of here. So it's a rough, weird scene that didn't really do much at all, but there it was. I don't know. So you find out the next morning, they're on getting ready, they're suiting up, whatever, and you find out Garuda's also heading out to Omega 13, and he's
the ships
bringing.
are probably right next to each other.
They're right next to each other, yeah. So and he's bringing all three of the girls. He's bringing Joanna, Eva, and Cecil, because that's a great
All
name.
the nuns.
All the nuns are going. So they make their way, and it turns out they find a
derelict
abandoned
vessel?
a ghost ship, yeah, and
Derelict vessel.
excellent, love it. They find the derelict vessel, and there's gold in them there asteroids. Yeah,
Man, I had an issue about this one point
please.
because clearly we have gotten far, far away from the solar system.
We are long gone, yeah.
Right. So somehow gold still has value.
Absolutely. It's still one of the rarest metals in the galaxy, apparently.
All right. Just want to make sure nobody else had a problem with that.
Oh,
Was just
I'm
me?
not saying I do
Oh,
or don't.
no.
I think it's probably
I
better
mean,
than them trying.
if you can go to prison for 2,000 years, I'm pretty sure gold has some value.
I
I'm just
think
saying, at least fucking Avatar gave us
a
unobtainium.
new metal, a wonderfully named unobtainium. So
Correct.
look, I think that's the thing, right? Like they didn't want to have to invent a whole new financial system. Gold was an easy thing for audiences to immediately equate with value, so they just went with gold. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have enough time to establish a new financial hierarchy, so they just went with gold, and I'm fine with it. It wasn't like a huge thing. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
No.
It really didn't. All they needed to do was show that Don Juan Garuda was money hungry, and that was his goal in life. They get there. It lasts about 7 seconds before the
showed-
tentacles arrive.
He showed more emotion looking at that gold than he did with that chick riding him.
That,
Not
Thanks.
wrong.
that got his blood pumping. So they're there for a hot minute, and the tentacles arrive and start spitting goo all over the spaceship. And Joanna turns to the other nun girls, and she's just like, Don Juan Garuda told us to stay here. And the other girls are like, motherfucker, we gotta
We gotta
go.
go.
We need to go. Yeah. So they try to flee the scene. And as our heroes arrive to lend aid. Akira immediately points out, there's gold. And they're like, cool. They suit up, they gear up, and they go out there to try and help. The tentacles do their thing. They spit some goo and they start being therapists. So
Muscular therapist.
and pop goes the weasel was the note I wrote at this point.
Yes. Oh my
because
gosh.
that escalated very, very quickly.
It
I had a problem
did.
with that pop too.
Did you? I did too, but I think our problems were different. But you go first.
So they just spit. So basically, they spit the goo over them to
Yeah,
create a seal.
that's
That
what I
way
was
they
going.
can,
That's what it
That's what
looked
I
like.
got.
Mhm.
so they can basically.
Get the deed done without having them suffocate to death or freeze.
Right.
Sure.
So you would think that when they pop with the seal,
That the
they
goo
should have
would-
just been a contained explosion and just a bubble.
Yeah. I think maybe at that point the goo doesn't matter anymore. I don't know.
It was
I
just
had
there for effect.
I
The
had
goo was
issues.
still there.
It was, which was just weird.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
the
was-
goo keeps things in, but doesn't keep things from popping out.
Hotel California. Got you.
Anyway, it's terrible. This girl's head literally explodes.
Really
It's
pops
fucking
off.
terrible.
And,
It's-
and they walk her around like a
They
puppet.
do
I
like
was
a god dang puppet. It's terrible.
I went, well, that escalated.
It's like, you know, when a
quick.
kid rips the head
Yeah.
off their sister's Barbie doll.
Dude,
That's what it reminded me of.
Eva and Cecil are very, very dead.
Yes,
And
they are.
it is extremely graphic. It is extremely gruesome. And it is extremely 80s. So interesting that it came out in the 90s.
It's extremely unnecessary.
It really was. It really was. But I'll get to that in a bit. So, the subs were kind of inconsistent for me. Like my subs dropped out for a couple scenes. I'm like, what the fuck did they
Mhm.
just say? It's not. I'm pretty sure that whatever got said did not explain it to me. But suddenly, for no reason whatsoever, they do manage to escape, and it's a very good thing they do. But suddenly, Joanna's unconscious. She was conscious when she pointed out that Ava and Cecil are very dead. They all get onto Tina's ship to escape, and then Joanna's unconscious. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. Anyway,
Rest of the day, she just passed out.
she's at that point, she's
It
passed
was
out.
exhaustion.
And then they're like,
Mhm.
she's okay. And I would have been fine with it. She could have very easily said she was just exhausted. And I would have been cool with it. But they didn't do that. She's just
Nope.
unconscious all of a sudden. But we're not going to get into that because we don't have time for that. We have arrived at Omega 13. Now, the Omega 13, not to be confused with Galaxy Quest's Omega 13, this Omega 13 will kill you. Seems like a nice place, though. 110 degrees Fahrenheit, nothing alive for miles. Perfect place to move into.
Wow, it sounds like here.
It really did. I thought of Nevada immediately. Now, here's the thing. My note is Tina seems extraordinarily casually dressed for a planet with a less than 2% survival rate.
Very.
Right?
Not just Tina. Not just
Right.
Tina.
Everyone.
Akira. Kira's in cut off short shit.
Everybody was dressed like they were getting ready to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Or to
During the
an
80s. They were going
That
to an
was
in the
80s beach
80s.
party.
I had a concern, and they brought Frill onto the surface. Like, less than 2% survival rate. I have to keep saying it because this is, once again, the reason nobody has ever come back. And we're going to take the 14-year-old girl who is a telepath, and we're going to put her on the planet, and we're going to walk around.
But remember, they
more-
still can't math right, so is that survivability rate correct?
I
a great
don't
question.
know. They don't know.
It's
they
a
thought
great
it was a
question.
positive number. They said less than 2%.
They're like, it's more
It's
than
great
0.
for
It's good
you.
enough.
It's great
Why
for you.
is Frill here? She literally says something, while I'm paraphrasing, something more terrifying than your worst nightmares could pop up at any moment. So, be careful. Like, this basically what Tina tells Frill as they're walking around. Like, you are a terrible parent.
Just to
you're
find
not
out. Just to find
Yeah.
out.
Not 10 seconds later,
Not 10
that-
seconds later.
Frill is a half. What? A Samoan? Like, were they
He's half
trying to say?
gremlin.
Were they
You
trying to say
motherfuckers don't even
Samoan?
try.
She's
guys don't
fucking
even try.
Blanca. She's fucking Blanca. She's Blanca.
That's what. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's what I thought too.
That
I
is
was
not
like,
Frill. It's Jimmy. That is Blanca. And she wants revenge against M. Bison. So look, I don't know what to tell you.
Honestly,
when she
Blanca
turned,
was kind
when-
of hotter though.
when she turned, I was like, "That's it. I'm done." I don't know.
They just, you know what it was with this character Frill? They desperately wanted this kid to be somebody that Tina would be endeared to. They threw fucking spaghetti at the wall with this character. They didn't know what to do with Frill. Even
Yeah.
they were like, this is dark as fuck. Why do we have a kid here? Let's keep giving her abilities to make her valuable. And they just started throwing their spaghetti at the wall. And we got a half Samoan Blanca transforming telepath who can speak with fucking plants, like crazy shit. Crazy shit.
Hey, I had spaghetti for dinner. I take offense to that.
You're offending the spaghetti.
What can I tell you guys? Look, it's a weird
Goulash.
thing.
They
I
threw
really-
goulash against the wall.
Frill is so fucking useless. She's
Yes.
slightly less useless than Akira. So Don Juan Garuda and Joanna are also here on this planet. They've established before they landed that Don Juan Garuda wants to go do whatever the hell Don Juan Garuda is going to do. And Akira's all like, you can't do that. And Tina's like, technically he can. He doesn't work for us. So whatever. Don Juan Garuda and Joanna, because of course, decide to go hunting for gold. They find a mine, and he finds a journal, and holy shit, more tentacles. So
Yep.
more plants, more tentacles. They haul ass. And it doesn't stop there, because at this point, the Samoan Blanca girl has said that there's a big, giant, angry plant coming. Okay. So Tina and Blanca are in trouble, and Blanca tries to fight the plants, and Tina's clothes get damaged and pulled off. Like Tina, okay, so
Yeah.
Tina's getting raped, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, so her head's gonna pop off, but it didn't.
Nope.
But instead they actually pulled her pants off, versus when they literally punctured through the spacesuit. Really, like, went through the spacesuit. But here, denim is just too much for them. Now we know why they all wear denim on the space station, by the way. So
Yeah.
the denim was too much. They had to pull the shorts off, and then she's now pantsless, and her top's open, and she's been violated. But her head didn't pop off, so that was a win. So Blanca and Tina escape and regroup as the
Just to
rapey
get
plants
captured.
attack. As the rapey plants attack again. For a second, and I wrote the note because it made me laugh. Tina suddenly has her pants back on when she's like
Yes,
shooting the shotgun
yes, she
down
did.
the hallway.
Okay.
She suddenly had her pants back on, and then they were gone again.
Because
Uh,
they realized, oh, we fucked up.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit,
Small
no,
little
we had,
continuity issue.
we had the pants. Yeah. So at this point, Joanna's getting raped again by tentacles.
Yeah.
And my note here is, this is the question I really wanted to ask, is why is it, and I feel like it kind of gets answered, but why is it only the women are getting raped by the tentacles? Garuda is completely wrapped up in tentacles, and he didn't get a tentacle in the poop chute. So what is it? Why is it just the women are the ones getting raped by the plant? And ordinarily I wouldn't think of this or care about this, but they've leaned really hard into the sci-fi of this. So now I have this question, and I wanted to know. I feel like it kind of gets
I
answered.
would say no one wanted to draw that.
I feel like it kind of gets answered in the fact that we find out later that the plants are omega-13.
Mhm.
It was just a thing that made me go, this seems that's not fair. I mean, hey, Don Juan Garuda works out. Like, got it going on. Anyway, they survive.
I think we need to have an act. We can make a campaign. Listen, if this goes good for the goose, good for the gander.
I'm just saying, you know. So, Don Juan Garuda sacrifices himself using a grenade in very close proximity to Joanna, but then proclaims that you must save Joanna, and
He
it
made a
works.
very dramatic statement.
Very.
I save her. Oh,
he-
it was very emotional for a man who was a real boy or a real doll
He was something.
previously.
And guess what? It doesn't even matter.
It really doesn't. So Joanna does get saved. The explosion does free her from the tentacles. Mostly, some of them remain in places they probably shouldn't, but she gets freed. And Tina and her and Akira and Blanca, they escape. And they go scorched earth on the planet, which is exactly what any intelligent person would do after experiencing what they
The
experienced.
correct thing to do.
They
Yes.
bombed the living shit out of it.
That was the only good thing that came out. I was like,
Right. This is the one smart decision they made in this entire anime. So they're on the ship, and at this point, we're really late into this anime. This anime's been running for 40, almost like a little over 30
Yes,
minutes, and it's
a
now
while.
at this point that they decided they wanted to start throwing comedy in it. And I was like, okay, I mean that's a choice. It's at this point that Akira is glancing over Tina, and for some reason only now suddenly realizes she's nude.
Yes.
And then asks her to get dressed because, and I realize I'm paraphrasing, he might not be able to control himself,
Little Akira is woken up.
which is rapey as hell. But so she
I
gets
won't
him
be held responsible for my
right.
actions.
Yeah, it's like,
I call them Akira's old children.
man. So, so
So bad.
Tina gets embarrassed and is gonna go get dressed, but then can't because Joanna's screaming and writhing in pain. And
Yes.
she gets full on xenomorphed, but instead of a weird little creature, we get a full grown blonde plant dude.
And
We
he
get
has to
Swamp
be
Thing.
blonde. And
We
he-
get Swamp Thing.
Yes, Swamp Thing's distant cousin.
bursts fully formed and fully grown from this tiny little woman
and ready to get down.
and ready to get down with a third limb. He immediately starts going to town on Tina. It's something. But wait, it's not just a weird blonde plant demon guy. It's Ortega. Dun dun dun. Plot twist. They had to make Akira relevant. They this was their attempt.
Mhm.
The blonde-haired guy who's absorbed by the plants and yet now is apparently master of the plants. I don't know. He is Ortega, the space pirate who killed Akira's dad. And so Akira engages in battle to get his vengeance.
Loses.
Gets his ass handed to him. But he does take the win.
In the end, he wins.
He gets the W.
Yeah.
He gets his vengeance and then immediately turns, looks at Tina, and we get a bloody nose trope. In the middle, like this epic climax of, again, I don't know why they decided to pivot to comedic notes this late in the anime when they were so hard on science fiction horror, and they suddenly pivoted to these comedic beats for no reason, like none. This wasn't telegraphed in any way.
Was not.
And then here we are. He gets the bloody nose trope, and I'm like, really? So then we get our epilogue. Tina gets a 1,000-year reduction on her sentence, so it gets halved.
Because and I had an issue with this because it's not like we have been watching this thing for like
47 and a half minutes?
No.
No.
So only 40 minutes have passed.
Mm-hmm.
So we were around when we heard that the whole thing was supposed to be avoided.
Right. It was supposed to be a full part. We're talking like January 6th riders, like full part. Doesn't matter what you did, you're good. And
wow.
And no. And yet, here we are.
Only enough of half.
She gets it halved, and she's not even that mad about it.
She's not.
Like,
It's another bargaining chip for another hot shower.
So that's so then she's like, oh, well, get a hot shower, and then we get another comedic beat. I swear to God, it's this knowing is half the battle bullshit. But then both
Right.
characters like, don't peek.
Don't peek.
Thunder, thunder, thunder. Like that's what it fucking felt like. That's what it fucking felt like.
No, oh, you asshole. You could have fucking said Speed Racer. You could say Speed Racer. You could say Mighty Morphin. Why didn't you pull out Gummy Bears? Gummy Bears had that type of shit.
This is just.
Why are you fucking with the Thundercats? Did nothing to you.
No, they're the GOAT. I love them. I don't know what to tell you, man. I was just so taken aback by this because, again, thematically, we were in hardcore science fiction
Sand to hell.
horror. Yes. Oh. And yet, we got all these weird, stupid comedy beats that made no sense. And the anime ends still a 1,000 years to go for Tina under imprisonment.
Dun dun dun.
And I'm
No
like,
credits.
Because he's going back to.
That's
going
your
back to prison.
thing? Like, that's
Yeah.
that's where we're ending this. Okay.
Ain't no credits for nothing. It just ended right there.
Just ended. I don't. So here's. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I know that this is a weird anime to actually be the thing, the catalyst that makes me think about this a lot. But I did. This made me think about this a lot, and my thought was, when is the nudity and the sex gratuitous, and when does it serve a purpose? Right? Now, people have this conversation all the time. I don't really care if it's gratuitous or if it serves a purpose. What I do care about is, does it make the film better or worse? Right? And if this anime was just as good or bad without it, then it really didn't matter. Right? This could have been.
Yeah, they could have clipped all the nudity out and just released it as,
It could have been a straight science fiction horror short.
like an
It could have.
R-rated short. Yeah.
It could absolutely have been a straight science fiction horror short because none of it improved the quality of the anime or made it more entertaining.
It served no point.
And I realized that is very hypocritical coming from me, who would have seen this in 1990s and been thrilled. But this is where I land now in my midlife musings.
I actually have. I need to speak up for Joanna.
Go ahead, be an advocate. Be
We
an
are
ally.
we are saying that Joanna was basically worthless, especially when it comes to her sexual prowess.
Sure.
But we have actually seen one other person who has even less worth than Joanna.
In this anime, or just as in prowess skills?
Prowess, and not in this anime, but we have covered one other person who's actually worse.
Okay, please go on.
And this would be?
Girl from MD Geist.
Noted. Absolutely, you are correct.
I will give you that win.
You are very right. That is true. Joanna is better at it. She is better at it than that character. 100%.
So
yeah, you're not wrong.
just saying,
That was-
I've been trying to put some respect on Garuda's name, and I can't have his magic stick being given to the most worthless person. It has to have been somebody worse.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah. So it was one of those things that this was an anime that made me go, if this anime didn't have those scenes in it, it wouldn't have been worse for it. It arguably might have been better for it. Like, it was kind of one of
Probably
those
would have had a wider
things.
release.
Like, it just it was definitely one of those things where it was useless. It was very interesting. It wasn't even
Especially-
tittillating because it was horrible.
Yes.
Right? And then it's like, let me reach over here, grab the laser disc real quick. And on the back, it's like they use it to sell
Absolutely.
in the movie. And it's like, Yeah, what you see here, it has a totally different feeling what you get
And
in
there
the
are,
show.
look, I am going to say, I'm going to come to the defense of this genre, the hentai genre. There are anime where the sex is a part of the plot and it makes
Mhm.
sense for it to be there. La Blue Girl, the entire anime is about sex ninjas. It makes perfect sense for that to be a plot point. The anime would be worse if there was no sex in the sex ninja anime. It would be worse. Now, an anime like Yorotsuki Doji, the sex isn't even the point, right?
Mm-mm.
That is a plot
It's a-
about a conflict in the demon realm. And that anime would arguably be just good or bad, your opinion on the film notwithstanding, with or without the sex in it. So it's not like there's not anime where the sex actually is part of the story or moves the plot or any way or is even entertaining. Some of it, it's just entertaining. This didn't have any of that. This was just downright wrong. This was shock factor, is all this was supposed to
Uh-huh.
be.
I would even say to the point of that we've seen better tentacles.
Oh,
Porn.
absolutely.
Everywhere?
Absolutely.
These were I wasn't like only 2 of them had that penile head. The
Yeah,
rest
yeah.
of them
Mhm.
had like
Little
suckers, like
weird mouth
more
things. Yeah.
calamari
That
type
didn't
thing.
do anything.
Didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. If they were suckers and they did some sucking, it would have been like, oh, okay. But they didn't even do that.
Nope.
Like, hey, look, this is the kind of anime we're reviewing. We're gonna talk about it. Like that, it was one of those things where the creature design failed. Absolutely. I feel like it did. Which is too bad because there are plenty of anime where the sucker tentacles do sucking and the penile tentacles do the penile
And this is
stuff. And
after the Blue Girl.
this is.
Yes.
This is. This is after the Blue Girl. It's after Yorotsuki Doji. It's after.
This is 96.
like-
This is after we graduated.
Yeah, this is well after all of this stuff. It really was a tacked on thing, I think, to try and market this because it probably would have been reasonably fine if they didn't have a kid and they didn't have the sex.
Yeah.
Which, God help me, I can't believe I'm saying that. Shouldn't have had sex. Or it shouldn't have had rape because there's not really much sex in it.
No.
There's just a lot of rape, which is
No, there is, again, we're talking
Don
about
Juan got-
Joanna.
Don Juan Garuda got some, but that was the only.
That was the only
That was
scene,
it.
really.
Yeah, which was laughable. It still was.
Laughable.
I fucking laughed out loud when it was fucking hilarious. I could not. It was like, oh my
It
God.
looked like she was seizing up there.
Really?
Look,
So embarrassing.
Seriously.
I
Have
have
some
been doing this
self-respect,
thing.
Joanna.
I have been breaking the fourth wall. When stuff like that happens and I'm watching it
Yeah.
and it's just laughable, I'll just actually go look at the like,
Turn to
look at
camera
the
too.
audience.
You like turn to camera too. Like, am I
what
the
the
only
fuck?
one? Just me? No.
Nobody else in the room. It's just me.
Oh man, it was some. It really was some.
Oh God.
So yeah, I don't know. It was Anyway, that was my thoughts on that. I wanted to talk about it because we've covered enough hentai in here on this show where it's you start to see the pattern of it, and it's with this one it was blatantly obvious to me. I'm like, wow, we are not titillating in this. We were going for the horror of it, which you could have established without the rape. It could have been just as horror-y without that.
It feels like it was similar
Yeah.
to like Kite. It's like, yeah, we'll make it, but you gotta add nudity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kite is a reasonably good anime with all that creepy shit tacked in. It's fascinating. It's an interesting thing, and it kind of makes you look at film that way, right? Like let's a quick exploration of hentai like films. Like okay, here you go. Showgirls couldn't make that movie without the sex. Couldn't do it. That's like kind of the point
Without
of that
sex
movie.
or without nudity.
Well, you can make I make a case for both. You can't do a movie about showgirls and not have the nudity in it. Like that seems
Well,
like
I
you
agree with
can't
the
do.
nudity. You don't need
Yeah.
the sex because the sex is even laughable.
Yeah.
I will say, Showgirls, you have to make it with nudity.
Yeah,
agreed. Right.
Right. I think we were talking about something along. I think ultimately, because we have seen the movie without the nudity with aliens, and that's the problem
Sure.
with it.
I think that's true.
We've seen this movie,
We've seen the version of this that doesn't have that. Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
And it was highly
Yeah.
superior,
That's fair. That's
except for
fair.
Alien 3, but we don't discuss that.
You're right. Aliens is the Alien films is this, but better, like massively
Much better. Massively better.
So if they were
Leagues
gonna
better.
try,
And I think that's really what subconsciously you think this, and not
Yeah.
until I said it, nobody really pieced that part together. But in your subconscious, you were like, I've seen better.
we felt it absolutely, and like even the Fist of the North Star part of it. Like Fist of the North Star is arguably not a great anime, but it's the parts of this that were Fist of the North Star were not as good as Fist of the North Star. So
That's the disappointment.
yeah, so I think that's I don't know. This is just it's one of those weird sort of gray area anime that you just kind of question a lot about it.
I honestly felt like it was a group of teenage boys that were told to make a
Probably.
hentai, and they just like grabbed all the iconic things that they could think of.
It's like one just
They
finished
just,
watching
like,
Fist of the North Star, the other one
crammed it.
watched Aliens, and
The other one was playing Street Fighter.
They all
Yeah.
just like crammed it in and said,
and all of them
"Look,
watched
had
Yubisoki
boobies."
Doji.
Yeah.
Like, one was
Let's
smoking
add
weed, and he said, one was smoking weed. He said, "Hey, hear me out. You bring in Blanca."
What if Newt was Blanca?
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of it was really disjointed.
Yeah.
I think that's what made it entertaining to watch because it was like, well, what are they gonna throw in next?
Yeah,
Oh,
it really
tentacles. And then you go,
yeah.
oh, is it gonna be your? No, they just popped her head
That is
off.
they're
Okay,
just killing motherfuckers. Yeah.
Here's one.
Brutally
Hear me out.
killing them.
Hear me out. You also bring in the 6-figure man.
Excellent callback. Yeah, it is a lot of that. It's trope after trope after trope, and they piled it into this product. So anyway,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I suppose we could probably start wrapping up. Let's
I
wrap
thought
up.
that
Wait,
was
wait,
your
I
final
got
thought.
stats.
What?
I got stats. Since
Oh,
you-
Vic's got stat. Hell yeah, dude, bring it.
So it was
What do we got?
directed by Ken Fukumoto,
My man.
who
The same
has
guy-
done. All Ken has done is apparently hentai in the 90s. That's his career.
All hentai.
90s, 2000s.
That's
All
what Ken
hentai.
does.
He did the Blue Girl. He did Twin Angels.
He probably did.
He did not do Little Blue Girl, but he did do Twin Angels.
There you go. And Venus
thought
5
he did.
probably is his too.
Actually, I think so. Did he?
It's
I
probably-
No,
thought
he
he
did
did.
not.
He did the Blue Girl.
Not the
That
director.
guy?
The studio did.
The studio,
The
did,
animation studio did.
but the director is not part of the project.
Correct.
He should
Now-
have fucking known better, though, right?
Now, no, this is the person I should have known better.
Okay.
Shigeru Yamazaki, the
All right.
episode director, right?
Okay. Yeah.
This guy has been an episode director, storyboard artist, key animator, and animator
Yeah.
for things like Macross,
Fuck you.
Hold on.
things like the Record of Literature TV series,
Fuck you.
Where?
Speed Grapher. He's done what is it? He's done Shuffle. He's done Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, which I think is still going. He's done some Dirty Pair.
Vic,
He's done Tenchi Muyo GXP.
dude, you don't even know how much you hurt your best friend. You hurt
I
him.
am flabbergasted. This dude should know better. He's
He was an episode director for 2 episodes of Street Fighter 2V.
dude has worked on some of the most entertaining shit we've watched, and
I'm sorry,
this
I'm
is
sorry.
where he
He's an
landed.
animation check on Megazone 23.
Time out, time out.
I wonder if
Time
he
out.
lost a bet.
I have a question. I
think he
Yeah,
lost
shoot.
a bet.
He must have.
Was it on Macross or was it on Super Dimensional Fortress Macross?
Super Dimensional Fortress Macross.
So there you go. The OG, baby.
So you hurt him so bad.
Dude, it's more just like, I'm like, wow. You know, it's one of those things that's like when Richard Dreyfuss does an interview these days, he's like, well, Jaws was a payday. Like it makes you go, damn.
Yeah. Now here's where it gets even funnier.
Hey,
The voice actresses. So the voice actor actress for Tina was Atsuko Tanaka,
Yeah.
who's still working as of this year.
Bravo.
And she has done things like Big Bang Bravern, and she was the Major in the most recent Ghost in the Shell standalone complex movie.
Dude.
And here's the weirder one, Frill.
All right. Frill?
Akemi
Oh, God.
Okamura, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Nami in One Piece.
What?
Yeah. And like all of them from the beginning. You know, she's done Pokemon. She's done a bunch of supporting characters in Pokemon. And not like one or
Wow.
two, but like a bunch of the series.
That's wild.
You know,
It was that.
she's
Hey,
it's-
hey, look, Vic, I need you to stop.
That's okay. That's all I had.
No, Vic. I don't think you realize this was the first time where Vic has pulled a bride and said, "Fuck you." That was the first thing.
I'm just, it's one of those things where it's
no,
like,
no, wait.
you just can't.
This was also the first time where Lynette looked like she was about to cook you too. I'm just saying, Vic, you should.
I'm proud of you, Vic.
There's some information you should share, and some information you should leave with friends.
I had flashbacks to there's a second part of Butt Attack Punisher Girl.
I apologize for that one.
I am very proud of you for bringing receipts, man, because that was incredible. This is an incredibly difficult anime to research.
Yeah,
so
I looked up and I just found it on granted, the internet, you never know if it's how accurate it is.
True.
But yeah.
Nevertheless.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Wow,
all right.
Wow.
So that being said, we are definitely in a position to roll out some final thoughts here.
That wasn't your. I thought you gave your final thoughts.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't final thoughts. I wanted to get that in before final thoughts.
No, he meant mine. Mine was not a final thought. Mine was a critique on the use of nudity and sex in anime and entertainment. And that's what that was.
You got to go first then, because you gave us a fucking exposition.
All right. So, first of all, wow, what a fantastic piece of cinema. This should be on 4K Blu-ray collection of every household in America. This is high art, based solely on the crew who worked on it.
Not even on the art, not even on the actual film.
Just the merit of the team. Look, this aspires to be so much, but it's just porn. Like
it's not even good one at that.
And it's not even titillating porn. It's just violence. It's violence in its rawest form. And I think that's the unfortunate thing about it. I think if it were titillating, I think if it were like, okay, the tentacles get rapey, not murdery, then it's like, okay, I could see that it doesn't. At no point is the nudity or the titillation in there. It's just meant to shock you. Right? You're like, oh, titties, damn, that girl did. Like there's no moment where you're enjoying it because it's horrible, right? The sci-fi elements, I started paying very close attention to the opening monologue because the world building in the opening dialogue, it's like, okay, we've got a fucked up planet. We're doing we're gonna like pioneer and find other worlds. And I'm like, okay, they spent some time world building, right? They have this D.U.A. Government component, United Earth
you
thing.
said it right. You said it right.
D.U.I. And so they've got this United Earth government
under the influence of alcohol.
And they've got this the idea of advancers being pioneers. Like the world building is there. The setting, the setting was right. And it immediately goes to absurd with Tina serving a 2,000-year sentence for something they never really clear up, by the way. Don't say
she destroyed the planet. She destroyed the planet.
So I read that on several descriptions for the movie, but I didn't hear them say it in the movie. Did they say it in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was clearly just laughing at 2,000 years and missed that part.
No, because it goes by very quickly.
Okay.
Look, he's like when he's talking about it, he says, "Don't be like that. Don't be mean at me." it's not your fault. He's basically said like it's not your fault you had to destroy that whole planet.
Dude,
Right.
that is. I'm
Even
so glad that
they
you told
say
me that.
he says, and even with that, I had a hard time getting your sentence to only 2,000 years.
To only 2,000
Yes.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where immediately they started like these mathing really badly, like Brian said, and it had the DNA to be an interesting sci-fi horror film. It just they it feels like they were constrained to have to try and do something to get on the Green Bunny label, maybe, or I don't know, but nothing. Like it kept trying so hard. This is
Yes.
Rudy the football player. You're just like, come on, Rudy, get in there. You got this. And they never, like Rudy just never gets on the field, man. Like he just doesn't ever get out there. And I
So
felt
it's not
really bad for it.
Rudy. It's not really Rudy so much as Lucas.
There you go. Let's go with that. And that's yes, absolutely. And so I wanted to like this because guess what? Like the animation's pretty damn good.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's very Fist of the North Starry, and like the physiques of the characters are like absurdly cartoonishly huge. But like there's a lot to like about the quality of like the ship designs and the characters, like they're recognizable characters. It just all of this effort is in vain, and I think that's
Yes.
it's a shame. You should under no circumstances buy this anime. You should under no circumstances own a laser disc of this anime. Victor, you should under no circumstances like seek this out. We've watched it for you, and I'm telling you, if you want hentai, there's better hentai. There's hentai out there that'll actually arouse you. There is hentai out there that has more interesting plots. This anime is a tryhard. And it never succeeds. And I feel really bad for it. I want to like it, but I can't. I'm glad it was only 44 minutes-ish because if this had been any longer, I might have gave up on it. So don't go seeking it out. Don't just don't. Like it's you can pirate it. It's easily piratable. It's all over the fucking internet. Like you can literally just type it into Google and there's going to be like 2 YouTube videos immediately. Like you're going to find this. But it's not worth your time, guys.
It really
If
isn't.
you remember this, if you're remembering this anime and you're like, I remember watching that, don't go back to it. It's you're only going to be disappointed. So that's my final thought on it. And with that, I'll hand it over to someone. Who wants to go? I'm going to point and it's not going to matter. You know what? Because I don't know how the videos work, I'm just going to go like this. You go next.
So who's up there besides me?
That would be
man.
you,
Just you.
actually.
Okay. So first, the only reason I own the Laserdisc is because it came in a lot buy. I wanted the Macross Collector's Edition box. It came with it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts around it. Macross won out.
And on
Okay.
that, I'll give you a pass, buddy.
So, and in all honesty, the artwork on the Laserdisc is probably the best thing about the series.
Cannot argue that.
About the movie.
I really can't. The
That's
cover
it.
art is really good. It's really cool. It's just all of this is the potential to be good. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll start off first with what we saw was pretty much an encode of the initial Kitty release, which apparently it looks like it was the only release in the US. And the encode quality was horrendous. It was god awful. I popped in the Laserdisc for literally 10 minutes just to fast forward.
Yeah.
To see if it was any better, and the Laserdisc was leagues better.
But
besides the massive mosaics that covered everything.
there you go. So
But-
if you're gonna seek this out, for the love of God, at least do yourself the decency of seeking it out uncensored.
Right? So with that said, God, I hate this, but I'm gonna sound like Brian on this. So we start off, Tina's in jail. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
that she's in jail. Tina gets a deal. She gets, to explore this planet to commute her sentence. Doesn't matter. She's on this space station to buy a new ship. She ends up with Frill. Akira, doesn't matter. They go off. They find this derelict ship. Doesn't matter. They land on, what was it, Omega 13? Doesn't matter. The Omega 13, they landed on the planet for a whopping 5 minutes. The planet doesn't, it's like, the potential was there for it to be at least decent.
Yeah.
And it was failed every step of the way to the point that the show doesn't matter. There's no reason to watch it at all. Period.
I would like to say he does sound like me. He did a pretty good job. I'm actually impressed. So
Bravo. Yeah.
bravo.
I mean, if I would have bought the Laserdisc on its own, which I think the going rate is like $10 to $15, I would have felt ripped off. If I would have bought the Best of Kitty in 2000 when it was released, I would have felt ripped off. It just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And it's like like you said, the world building, okay, it got interesting. The ship design was interesting. The character design, for the most part, was pretty good. But in the end, if the story isn't good and what's going on isn't good, then it doesn't matter. So with that, it's a hard pass.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you do feel like it matters, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
I
It
feel
matters.
like it
It
firmly
matters to the
established.
point that if you like it, I question your judgment on anime.
This is a benchmark anime for Vic. All right, awesome. So we'll let Lynette go next. Lynette.
I think the only people who should watch this are people who should get the PSAs on what not to do when building a story, building a world, animating anything. When they tell you, you know how you get like that cheat sheet, what not to do when you do something? What they should do is have this as the very first thing. So you want to create an anime, watch
like,
this,
what not to
and
do.
it'll tell you, it'll be like what not to do. And honestly, with the people that were with that, I swear, I think someone lost a bet and they were told that they had to create an anime off of some 13-year-old boy's comic book that he drew while he was high. And they said, okay, you got to do this.
And you have 6 days.
And you have 6 days to do it. It was one of those things. There were points where I was like, okay, this might get, nope, now it's dumb. Oh, nope, I don't know where that's coming from. It just got to the point where I was just like, okay. And then the whole sex scene was like laughable. I was like, are you really? then the tentacles, I was like, okay, something's gonna go and nope, I don't know what's
Yeah.
so I spent the whole thing going maybe something. Nope.
Yeah.
And then by the end I was like, well, okay. Yeah.
I'm right there
But
with you.
yeah. I would not recommend it unless you want to learn what to avoid when making your own anime.
I dig it.
Cool.
All right, Brian, you're gonna wrap this up for us.
I actually do think you should recommend it.
Yeah.
For one reason. I have a dream in my head. One day I'm going to create some type of art like this. Not like this, but just create some
I was
art.
about to say, clarify.
Some art, right?
Sure.
And I wonder whether or not, if anything from my brain could actually be well received.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow this shit got promoted, it was released, and then released on fucking Laserdisc.
And released
And
stateside.
DVD.
Yeah.
And DVD. So I say this is for if you're a dreamer, fucking shoot your shot, player. Because if this could get it, so can you. And I guarantee you that anything that you can do, if you watch this, you can make something 10 times better. Because there's one other person that we did not put into this algorithm of what made this. And that's Snake Plissken from Escape from New York.
All right.
That is who Tina is.
I guess. Yeah. She's a little bit Ripley. She's a little bit Snake.
Like,
I'll give you that. I'll give you
right.
that.
So all those people with all this pedigree and all this plagiarism and just whatever you want to call it, still got made from people who fucking know better.
And not just got made, like you said, got promoted, got released, got a Western company to look at it and go, we can release this, bought the rights to it, repackaged it, subtitled it, went through the trouble.
To rain on everyone's parade, realize
Yeah.
Green Bunny doesn't exist anymore.
They do not.
So
They do not, and neither does Arms or Dandelion, the original version anyway. Like everybody involved in this is gone.
Look. We didn't say there weren't consequences. But
I just want to make sure people understand. If you're going to shoot your shot, just realize
it may be
20
your
years
only
from now,
shot.
you're going to be gone.
shoot your shot and let it, dude. Shoot your
Yeah.
shot. This horrible look. We have seen Tromaville. We have seen the gamut of horrible things that sit in that. Patton Oswalt talks about deathbed, the bed that keeps killing, right? The whole
Right.
skit that he does with it, right?
Yeah.
That shit got made.
Yes,
Vance Tina got made.
it did.
You too can make something
I don't
that can
feel
get
like
made.
I don't feel like Advanced Tina is the metric by which create your art is like the should be held to.
No,
There are
shoot your shot.
plenty. There are plenty of projects that you could be like, look at these guys, they did it. If your best is look at Advanced Tina, they made it.
Oh,
Then-
Atlanta.
No. I'm saying this because I don't want. I'm trying to lower the bar for suicide. I'm trying to lower. Dude, we have seen some things that have made us question our fucking humanity. We
Yeah.
have given a fucking existential crisis. Well,
True.
let this one be the one to just fucking bring you back and say, you know what? You can't do worse.
Wow, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Okay. So that is that. That is going to do it for our show. So until next time, keep calm, and still 1,000 years to go before this gets watched again.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections, or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.